yes. Ricky Pearson here, and I guide Christ like leaders from silent burnout into spiritual clarity, emotional strength, grounded leadership, so they can lead again from a healthy soul. From a healthy soul, family. Come on in. Come on in. I'm going to take my glasses off, see if I can read with them. But our topic, you can't lead others where you won't go yourself. Oh, yes. This is a big one tonight. This is a big one. This is a big one tonight. You can't lead others where you won't go yourself. Again, I'm Ricky Pearson, and I guide Christ-like leaders, okay, from silent burnout into spiritual clarity, emotional strength, and grounded leadership, so they can lead again from a healthy soul. I like to keep saying that till it just burns in my heart, and right into yours as well, family, because this is real. We going deep tonight on this live. We're going to we're going to that. Hey, practice what you preach. We about to get into this. You know what I'm saying? This is tough, family. Learning the hard way in this is something that I had to do in my own life, family. I really had to learn how to do this. Okay, going through 2 marriages. Okay, I really had to learn that you can't lead others where you won't go yourself. Mm, 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 mm. Family, it's not easy to fall on your sword. It's not, but it has to be done. It has to be done for restoration to work. It has to be done so that we can understand what it means to be exhausted in the field. And again, if you're not being exhausted out here, then there's something that you're not doing that's right, because there's something that you're not doing that you should be doing. Okay, because you should be experiencing some kind of exhaustion at some point in your ministry of success. All right, because remember, you are restoring others who are not even equipped to restore you back in the same manner. Okay, and a lot of the individuals that you're around, your peers, are really in competition with you silently. And a lot of your mentors are in competition with you silently, and that's okay. All right. These situations are okay because this is normal. There is nothing wrong, nothing lazy, nothing weak about exhaustion. So today we are talking about you cannot lead others where you won't go. That's the topic today. This live is for men who are leading others, but they have been avoiding their own inner work. You've been avoiding your own inner work. This live is for you tonight. And again, we can all, even myself, on certain levels and degrees. But I can tell you right now, at my lowest of my low, this didn't even make sense to me. If you want to protect your image, this isn't for you. You want to protect your image, this is not for you. If you want your integrity back, stay. All right. If you want your integrity back, stay. If you want your integrity sharpened, stay. Because we can always use an integrity sharpener. That's always useful. Again, I am Ricky Pearson, and I help Christ-like leaders through burnout into spiritual clarity, emotional strength, and grounded leadership so that they can lead with a healthy soul. Let's go. We're getting out of that burnout. We're getting out of that silent burnout. Everybody's trying to protect an image out here. Even the individuals at the top. The individuals who should be feeling pretty confident in their leadership and what they've learned through life and what they continue to learn in life, even they've got an image that they want to protect. So our core attention here, the thing that makes us go, ugh, the things like the chalkboard, the nails on the chalkboard. Ugh. Leaders are teaching what they aren't living. Come on now, family. You know how it goes today. Talk it, manifest it through talk. People are gonna spend it any way they need to spend it to themselves to make it make sense to them. But this is what's going on, period. And we have to, again, examine ourselves, because we could easily fall into this, teaching what we aren't living. This is extremely important, family, because this was the whole ministry behind Paul's, after he was Saul turning into Paul, he turned into an individual who was living the word instead of just a knower of the word and a doer. You see what I'm saying? He became more of that part. The part where I'm out here living it. I'm going to prison for it. I'm being slandered for it. All right. This is a different type of leadership that individuals, they say they do. I mean, come on. Who's not going to say that? Who's not going to say, oh, I do what I teach. I do what I say. Whatever I tell you, I live it. Who's going to say the opposite? Nobody. Okay. So a lot of the time, this is something that you really can't prove just off of the surface level, just if we're just going off of our five senses that we have. Okay. No, you're not going to be able to just see it off the jump. No, you're not. Because nobody wants to have an image problem. Nobody wants to go down saying that. Hey guys, I'm telling y'all what to do, but I don't do this. You know what I'm saying? You lose credibility off the jump. However, since it's such an image, killer, people are going to lie. And you have to expect them to lie. However, leaders like us who lead at a high level, who have been successful in this, we understand how easy it is to fall in this if you're feeling exhausted, if you have the fog and the irritability and the lack of patience and the laziness in your listening would cause you to be teaching things that you aren't living. Correcting what they won't confront in themselves. Ooh. You see, we're hurting ourselves here when we do this, but we're also hurting the individuals that are seeing us demonstrate this type of behavior and attitude and approach towards our leadership, family. See, we have to lead at a high level all the time. And we know this because you're successful. And you know that there's no days off in leadership. When I was in the Air Force, first thing they told us was, hey, when y'all in uniform, y'all are technically on duty. But guess what? When you're out of uniform, you're still on duty. And at first I was like, dang, what does that mean, man? So when I'm off, I'm really not off. And it's, it's really like that. When you're a leader in this life, in these bodies, you're never off. No days off, family. No days off until we lay it down and we go to meet the Father and be judged by the Father and see him and be embraced by his love. This is what we got to deal with. Leading others into disciples. Leading others into disciplines they avoid. I see this a lot. I see this a lot with, new pastors and new Christian leaders. Not so much the OGs, but the newer ones, because they're so new in their righteousness per se. They're out here and they're trying to be SpongeBob SquarePants. They're trying to do everything according to the book, everything according to the book, everything according to the book. That's what's in their spirit. That's what they want to do. And they're on fire for God. But in reality, come on now, we know the flesh takes a while to catch up to it. So what they end up doing is thinking that the more that they preach these disciplines to other people, it'll just automatically click in them one day. And it doesn't work like that. You know that. You got those individuals and they get caught up in it because they get really good at telling people the disciplines that they need to do. They get really good at telling people what they need to do. We all know people like that. We all know high-ranking leaders like that, high-level leaders. And a lot of people will praise these type of leaders because the results that they get are shocking. They shock me all the time as well. But in reality, this is okay, family. Listen, we want to lead with a healthy soul. Okay. There's individuals out here who don't give a damn if their soul is healthy while they lead or live, for that matter. They don't care about a healthy soul. They care about fat pockets. They care about position. They care about competition. All right? They care about wealth. They care about family. They care about all the things of this world. Again, Ricky Pearson and I guide Christ-like leaders from silent burnout into spiritual clarity, emotional strength, and grounded leadership so that they can lead with a healthy soul, family. This is not just about doing the work. Oh, I did it. I'm going to do it. I'm doing it. I've been doing it for years. Okay. But where's your spirit at? Where's your heart at? Are you feeling exhausted? You say that out of your mouth, but your actions are telling me different. You cannot lead others where you won't go yourself. Carrying quiet hypocrisy and shame. So you're really a hypocrite on the low and carrying shame. Come on, this has got the Pharisee spirit written all over it. And this is why Nicodemus, okay, the Nicodemus was the Pharisee who came to Christ at night, wanted to meet Christ at night so nobody would know that he was meeting with him to give him his flowers. Okay, this is why Nicodemus, in the middle, when Christ was really giving him the keys to the kingdom, you must be born again. He belittled Christ and started talking about, oh, what am I supposed to do? Go back into my mother's womb? See, that was a clear indication of him feeling, just off the power of the Holy Spirit, of the truth that Christ was spitting to him. And he really couldn't understand it, right? So in his shame of not really understanding and him being a hypocrite, because at that very moment, he knew he wasn't really living the scriptures according to the Spirit. He was living the scriptures according to what they had developed. And he understood that the reason why Christ was doing all of these amazing things that he wasn't doing was because he was exhausted and was no longer aligned with the Father. So it brought shame to him. He didn't want to deal with the shame the right way. Obviously, none of them did. Okay, well, and none of the ones the only one that we know on record is Paul, man. Paul, complete transformation. Complete. That's why he was so confident in killing Christians and individuals like him, because they were straight hypocrites living in shame. That will have you out here killing people with your words, killing people with your actions, killing people with your lack of integrity. Again, leaders are teaching what they aren't living, correcting what they won't confront themselves in their own lives. Remember, shepherd or self. Leading others into disciplines they avoid, carrying quiet hypocrisy and shame. They feel disqualified. There we go. That boy Nicodemus felt disqualified, and he was qualified. Hey, come on now. He passed all the tests. He was the highest of the highest, man. He did everything that they respected him. He did everything that needed to be done. However, when he spoke to Christ that night, and Christ laid down the law through the Spirit in truth, and really gamed him up, was really giving him the keys to the kingdom, he had to downplay him. Why? Because Christ telling him those things made him feel disqualified because he was not aligned. Spiritually numb. He was spiritually numb. He didn't even want to accept it. He was out of alignment. He didn't even want to accept it. Okay. His spirit wanted to accept it, or he never would have wanted to meet with the Christ. But when Christ started to say that, what he said, Nicodemus couldn't handle it. He became spiritually numb. He couldn't even understand it. He didn't have an ear to hear. His pride, his ego got in the way. Afraid of being exposed. These individuals are afraid of being exposed. Why? Because they're so hyped in their image. Their image is what makes them, what breaks them. He's the head Pharisee. Oh, you're the head this. Oh, oh man, Christ comes through. Hey guys, guess what? I thought I knew about this, but this guy, Christ, man, he's come through with spirit and truth, and he's putting on something new that we need to add to what we got going on. See? He wasn't confident enough in the spirit for him to do that because he was in line with the Father. He was aligned with his title. He was aligned with his group. He was aligned with his fellow brethren. Submission before authority. Okay. If they had practiced submission before they basked in their authority, when Christ would have came along, they would have been wise enough to pay attention, and not only pay attention, but include the things that he was saying into what they had going on. It wasn't that they had to get rid of what they were doing. Christ never even told them that. It was the way they were moving. It was the arrogance that they thought that, oh, it's what we say and how we say to do it because this is the right way. Okay? There is no right way that humans can ever think of. And thank God for his spirit, because we know that we will lead ourselves astray every time. Every time, family. That's why this is so dangerous. Submission before authority. That's the servant leader. Okay? That's the servant leader. Why do we say servant leader? Why did Christ say the greatest among you will be the servant? Because he understands the importance of submission before authority. Obedience before influence. Remember how we talked about delayed disobedience cost you? That's why obedience has got to be first. And then influence has got to be second. If you're influencing people, you want to be influencing people out of obedience, not out of desperateness, not out of desperado, and you out here desperate. Or you're trying to fit in, trying to be liked, trying to get paid, trying to get your point across. No, family, not at all. Submission before authority, obedience before influence. Understand that. That is very key. This keeps us out of jams in the future. Obedience. Started off with obedience. Make all the hard decisions first. Okay. Make all the cuts first. Don't get into your groove and your flow and then try to be obedient. It's almost impossible, because at that point, obedience is going to almost seem like an attack by Satan. That's powerful, family. Again, where do we have an example? We have an example of this. Where did Christ had to tell Peter? He had to tell Peter, "Get ye behind me, Satan." And all Peter was saying was, Christ, yo, man, we ain't gonna let you die. You ain't dying, man. Never. That's not a bad thing to say, right? Come on now. He loved Christ. He didn't want him to die. But Christ told him, "Get ye behind me, Satan." Why? Because the manner and the spirit and the attitude that Peter was in. See, Christ knew that he had to do what he had to do. So anything going against that was not of the spirit. It was of human emotions. It was of human thought. And it wasn't out of obedience, it was out of influence. He said that out of influence. Christ had a heavy influence. But Christ wants obedience. The people that we lead, they need us to be obedient before we want to influence them. We need to do that out of obedience, not out of what we want to do and what we think we should do and what we saw another person do and what that person told us we should be doing. Integrity before expansion. Family, I see this in prison ministry. I've been in prison ministry the last 7-8 years, and I see individuals that would rather have expansion before integrity. That's one thing about the prison system. You have to have integrity before you think of expansion. You have to. And that's one thing I love. One of the many things I love about it, because integrity is important when you are ministering and being a chaplain, a volunteer, whatever you are in the prison ministry, doing God's work in the ministry with the prisoners. You have to have your integrity at the utmost. You have to be an extremely person that holds integrity high. If you understand what I'm saying, for real. I've seen many people fall because of lack of integrity. Now I'm seeing people get out of alignment because they're going more with expansion and influence instead of integrity and obedience. They rather have the influence. They rather have the expansion. They'll sacrifice obedience and they'll sacrifice integrity. And you know what? It hurts my heart when I see it. It hurts my heart when I see it because individuals really don't understand it's a backwards play. And what you're doing is very clear. You're trying to lead others where you won't even go yourself. You're trying to lead others to obedience and sacrifice, and you won't even be obedient and sacrifice yourself. It's always going to be like this, family. This is never going to be different because the flesh and the spirit are always going to war against each other every day, even when you're a leader, when you're not a leader. But when you're a leader and you're a successful leader, you understand how to do battle with the flesh. You understand how to stop the flesh in its tracks sometimes and be able to allow the spirit to lead the way. Submission before authority, obedience before influence, and integrity before expansion. Again, Ricky Pearson, I guide Christ-like leadership, like Christ-like leaders from silent burnout into spiritual clarity, emotional strength, and grounded leadership so that they can lead again with a healthy soul. All right. Why God stopped giving you clarity. That's just something that we gotta, that's just something that we gotta deal with, and we gotta understand that. All right, we gotta understand when the Spirit isn't pouring into us, and we're more so jerking our own chain. You know what I'm saying? We're out here singing our own praises, and a lot of it has to do with other people. However, who's the leader? We are the leader, family. We can't allow people to distract us and get us off of focus with their praises or with their politics or with their problems and complaints and all these things. But the praises is the one that gets people the most with this right here, where they get into these situations where they're teaching others what they aren't living. Is because the praises are coming in, so the discipline is lacking. They get away with certain type of things, so they think that those things won't pile up, and they'll eventually know this whole time it's weighing on you, and God knows it, and you know it, and guess what? I know it too. This is what we do as leaders, family. This is what we are as leaders. Okay. Leadership flows from alignment, not position. That's extremely important too. I'm wrapping it up here in my notes right here, and these are just some of the last couple of things that I want to touch on. And it's leadership flows from alignment and not position. If you are not aligned, it will be very uncomfortable for you and your listeners. Again, like I talked to you guys about the other night, every night we say this all the time because this is important. We're not getting things past people like we thought we were in the past. No, people are picking up on vibes. People are picking up on your nonverbals. People are picking up on your facial expressions. People are watching you from the corner over here and watching you and seeing how you treat people and seeing how you move and all this stuff. They are watching you and they are adding you up. And you need to understand this right now. Leadership flows from alignment. If you are out of alignment, don't even think about it. Don't even think that your position is going to speak for you. No, it's not. No, it's not. You're a hypocrite and you're going to be living in your shame. And you ain't going to be able to handle it, just like the Pharisees. God won't amplify what he hasn't purified. This is deep. You know, this whole topic tonight is deep, but this is really deep though. We need to really understand that purification is a process. Okay. And we need to be undergoing this process anytime you feel like you're out of alignment. Anytime you may feel exhausted in the field. Anytime you may feel like you may be compromising to please people. And again, these things are normal, family. This means you're doing something right. It doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're strong. It means you're successful. You can't impart what you haven't embodied. You cannot impart what you haven't embodied. Again, this is something that got drilled into me while I've been in prison ministry by the Spirit. You have to be this way. You have to be this way. Individuals in there, man, they are very, they're going to play you the way you want to be played. You come in there with that fake and phony, they're going to play you the way you want to be played. If you come on there understanding and embodying what you're trying to impart to them, they're going to respect you. And it's not that they're going to like you, because not everybody likes you. It has to respect you. That's just the way life is. And you need to be okay with that as well. Everybody doesn't have to like you. Everybody doesn't have to respect you. And you can still talk to them. We don't have to treat people the way they treat us. No, we treat people the way we want to be treated, period. And that's always going to put us in a position where the things that we're leading people and teaching people and trying to impart into people, we're going to live it. And if we ain't live it, guess what? We ain't going to say it. That's how cold the Spirit is. All right. The Spirit ain't going to have us out here blaspheming. If you're in alignment with God, it will correct you and you won't even understand it. A lot of times you won't even remember it. You're just going to know what you didn't do, how you didn't react. Because God's mercy is real, family, but you got to understand, he will not bless what's not purified. He is not going to come through and bless your business, bless your family, bless your path and your journey when you're not even willing to do the things that you're out here speaking about. The hard things, the day-to-day things. This live is for men who are leading others, but they have been avoiding their own inner work. You're looking good on the outside. You got some nice clothes. You got a nice car. You got a nice house. But that inner work, it's going to cost you, man. It's going to cost you. The more that you want to neglect that, the more that you think that people are just being so razzle-dazzled by your outer appearance and your words, your gift of gab, your salesman tactics that have been around for ages. Come on, family. Understand this. We are leaders. And we have to acknowledge when things are off. Come on now. Think about a NASCAR driver driving at a high level and he thinks that, I'm just going to run the whole race. I ain't even going to stop for no pit. He ain't going to win the race. He going to end up killing somebody, maybe himself. Come on, family. These are normal things. When we're doing something at a high level, like serving and restoring people that cannot restore us in the same manner, don't you think we're going to get wear and tear? Of course we are. Just like Solomon, wear and tear. And if you don't acknowledge it, and if you don't deal with it, then it ends up being a situation where you have you end up having a lot of fruits of division in your life. It's time to be restored though, so that you can be renewed, so that you can be given the medicine that you need to get your soul back healthy. So remember this: leadership flows from alignment, not position. I don't care what position you may hold. I don't care what position or title you've given yourself. Leadership flows from alignment, not position. So much love, family. Ricky Pearson here. If you want to contact me, send me a message, a direct message, and I'll get you on the schedule and we'll set up a call. And I'll be putting my calendar at the bottom in the description of the videos as well. But take these words very seriously, family. Okay, we cannot be out here thinking that we can tell people certain things that we ain't willing to do ourselves. So much love and respect. Till next time.